So we're going to measure 3 different motions of the TMJ, and I'd asked Scott if he wouldn't mind if I had measured him, simply because I've been kind of harassing him about his jaw this whole time. So again, we're going to take numbers, but what we really care about is quality of movement. And we know that Scott does not open his mouth straight. Even when he is at rest, his jaw is deviated when his teeth are approximated. Okay. So what I'd like you to do first is just open your mouth as far as you can, keeping your head still. Yeah. That is awesome. You were so good at that. So did you see the shifting when you open the closes? So you just move. Does it hurt when you do that?
No, not if I'm doing it just like passively.
Oh.
If I'm chewing,
okay.
or like I take a big bite of something and I'm trying to do that, then it hurts.
Okay. So unloaded. We'll say.
Unloaded.
Okay.
That's the word.
All right. So let me have you look at Sarah a couple more times. Oh yeah.
Going for the camera.
This is good.
So what would be actually
I'm really utilizing the Zoom.
So what would be really interesting is to feel the TMJ when he does that. Now go ahead and open and close. Okay, and come back down. Okay, so why doesn't someone else come up and feel that? As long as it's not hurting you yet.
You guys know.
Alright, fine. So just go ahead and just lightly lay your hands right there and have him open and close.
Go ahead and open and close, guys. Whoa.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's like a popping.
And it's really symmetrical, right? So the TMJ has a translation followed by a rotation, and he has an excessive translation on one side. So if a couple other people want to feel, we can't have everybody, but if someone else wants to feel it, or do you all believe it? You can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to learn how to more fully evaluate the temporomandibular joint and treat it in your spine class, which is in spring of year 2. So today we're just really talking about how to measure the motion. But again, I think the quality of the motion tells us a lot more than any measurement I might take. We might use these measurements as for goal setting so that we can work on him moving his mouth. Now, does he have a problem with opening? No. Okay, as far as how far he's opening, it really isn't a problem. So there should probably be no surprise that what we're going to do is simply have him open his mouth and measure the distance between his teeth. Okay, so go ahead and open your mouth for me. Okay, good. So he was at 4.9 centimeters of opening, and that's called depression. Okay, that's just simply coming down. Now we also want to measure protraction. So what I want you to do is go. Yeah. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick. I did wipe this down before I brought it out. I'm just going to stick this on your top tooth. Okay. Ready? Okay. Good. And he's at 0.9 centimeters for his protraction. Now for protraction, what's important that Scott did very well is you really want to just translate the jaw forward. You don't want any kind of depression with it. Okay? So then the last one is lateral deviation. So now what I'm going to have you do is just like you did when you brought it forward, I want you to keep your teeth relatively close together, and now you're going to go sideways. So you're going to go. Okay? Oops, I'm going to go this way. All right, go ahead.
Which way?
Let's go left.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Are you? Okay, so we're at 1.7. I think we're at 1.3. Okay, we're going to go the other way.
Are you measuring from the center between the front 2 teeth?
Yep. And there he was at 1.1. So that's a percentage-wise, that's a pretty big difference.
So you're going from front 2 teeth or middle to front and middle to bottom?
Yeah.
Like, or maybe bottom to
Yeah.
okay.
Now some people, their teeth those creases aren't going to align perfectly, so you do want to compensate for that and take that into account. You again are going to report it in centimeters or millimeters, either one is fine, but it's going to be one number and not a range. Okay? This is one that you're going to be right up close and personal. You do need to make sure that your goniometers are clean before you stick them in multiple mouths. Okay? When you get in and start doing the mobilizations of the TMJ, you will actually have gloves on because you'll be sticking your hands in people's mouths. Okay? So let's have you practice. Okay?
When you say you would compensate if they start in a wonky position, do you mean like you would note the measurement that you started in, or?
Just like for all of our other measurements, you would take your starting position and your final position and do the subtraction so that you had the right number.
Do we have alcohol wipes for wiping this down?
Yeah, they should be under all of the tables.
Did you have him line up his teeth, like if he had an underbite or overbite, or
I had noticed, so I didn't look at under or overbite, but I had noticed that his teeth aligned before when I had him opening and closing his mouth.
if somebody had a
Wait, no,
different
they
bite?
don't align at all.
Oh, you're right, they don't. So I would have to take that measurement. Okay, and that might explain why he was so far off on one side to the other.
Would you have someone do like that before you did the measurement?
Right. So I had thought that I had watched him when he was opening and closing his mouth, and I thought they were aligned, but you certainly would want to check that first. So thank you. Okay, any other questions? All right, so let's